What's going on, guys? Welcome to Slashers and Superheroes. I'm Cameron, this is Jacob, and we have another movie review. This one,
For a 5-star cinema experience.
Martin Scorsese directs Madam Web. Madam Web. Um, Now, if y'all have not been living under a rock, or if y'all have been living under a rock, this movie has been memed for like 2 days now. Ever
Hmm.
since the embargo lifted, it's been given bad reviews, just left and right. You
Yeah,
should look.
it's like at a 14% critics on
It's
Rotten
at
Tomatoes.
13 right now, actually.
13. So
Hmm.
so it's at 13. It's rotten also for audience. It's like a 3.8 on IMDb. Like it's getting demolished right
Yeah,
now.
and if you can't tell, um, we
We did not like the movie.
we did not like the movie. You didn't like the movie? Well, I will destroy you, as I will you, as I will you and you. Um, yeah, this movie's bad. It's probably the worst superhero film I've ever seen with these two eyeballs. And we've seen Fantastic Four. We have seen Morbius, the 2015 Fantastic Four,
Hmm.
or Fanfortastic, or Fanfortistic, and Morbius. And Catwoman. I've seen all three of those, and this is by far worse than all three of those. I would rather watch Fantastic Four 2015 over this. I would rather watch Morbius, and I'd rather watch Catwoman. It is bad. Um,
Yeah.
Now we can talk. I mean, there's some slight positives, I guess you can say, that kind of like,
I
because
have one. Yeah.
there's a whole wave of negatives we'll get into, but the positives I can say is Dakota Johnson and Adam Scott were not offensive. They were actually somewhat good compared to everyone else in the film.
I guess they made the most of what they were given,
Right.
especially Adam Scott. Adam Scott was my favorite in the movie
Hmm.
because he was kind of just playing himself,
And he
but
acted like a normal human being.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Um,
almost like he didn't take it too serious at all. Like you can kind of tell what movie he was in. He knew what movie he was in.
yeah. Um, and I can say that the premise is cool, but it wasn't really executed well. You
No.
know, it just wasn't. Um, that's it for the positive section. We can go straight into the negatives. Um, which is what everyone is here watching the review for. To be honest,
Hmm.
okay, everyone is watching Madam Web reviews
Yeah.
to watch everyone shit on the movie,
There,
and
there's been tons of reviews that have dropped by now,
mhm,
and if you watch any of them, you know what this movie is like.
it's
It,
it's uh,
it's very bad.
it's very bad. Um, well, let's just go ahead and just say that the screenwriting um, is by far the worst. Like, nobody talks like these people talk in the way they talk.
Yeah.
There's no way to say it. And uh, like, for some reason, like, there was some like quirky stuff, like that, mostly the Dakota Johnson that she said, and it was actually said well, and it got a couple
Yeah.
chuckles out of the audience. Me, I kind of like rolled my eyes, but I was like, okay, that was better than what we've been getting the entire movie. I didn't laugh, but I was like, okay, I can see why people would make that, what would laugh at that.
Hmm.
But just overall, all around, the dialogue is just not great, and the screenwriting.
It's very unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of times in movies, if the dialogue's really well written, it doesn't feel like the actors are saying lines back and forth to each other. It feels like natural, like a natural conversation. This was the complete opposite. It didn't feel that way at all.
No.
Um, watching the whole entire movie, it just felt like I was watching actors just say their lines back and forth. And there was no chemistry
No.
in this cast. Like,
None.
and that's I think it's mainly to how bad it was written. I'm not gonna knock the cast too much,
Because
but
we've
yeah,
seen
it
we've
was like
seen
so
these
awkward. It was
cast
like
members. We've seen them in good stuff, like Dakota
yeah,
Johnson out the El Royale movie with that hotel in the middle of nowhere. That that hotel movie that she was in. She was good in that. Sydney Sweeney, Euphoria, everyone knows, and plus she's good looking. That's probably the majority of why people like her. Um, and then the other two, I don't remember their name, but one is gonna be Hawk Girl in the DCU, and
Mhm. The
the
other girl is in Ghostbusters Afterlife, and she's good in that.
oh yes, that's right, that's right. Yeah,
Mhm.
she's good in that as well. Um, so the actresses aren't bad. It's just what they were given. Like, there's no way you could work with what was given to them. There's no way. Um, and I gotta say, like, the cinematography is so bad. Um, me and Jacob were laughing our asses off because literally
Here's
it's
the camera. There's every 5 seconds. Here's the camera.
yeah, yeah, just like zooming in constantly, like office style. Like,
Yeah.
you know how
Like
Jim
say
says
that they
something.
wanted Dakota Johnson's lines for
Okay,
the end.
okay, okay.
Here's the camera right here.
The girls were never your future. I was. You know that's like it. It was so bad, so bad, and and literally, Ezekiel, the villain, would just be like, "Oh no." And speaking of the villain,
He was the worst part.
he was so. Everyone makes fun of like the MCU villains, like Malekith from Dark World. Who else am I? Who else can I think of?
The villain in the Marvels.
Right, the villain in the Marvels. Everyone can talk about bad MCU villains, but this is the worst, and there's no question. Like the guy
Well, to
who
start, just outside of his performance, most of his lines are bad ADR.
yes,
So like within the first minute of the movie, the first line he says, his mouth isn't moving. So
yeah,
yeah, it was a
and that
complete
happens at
train
least
wreck.
two more times in the film.
Yeah,
And if
and he
anyone,
talks like this.
yeah,
If you do not, if you cannot find the girls, I will find them myself, and I will kill you, as I
as I
will
will
them.
you,
Yeah.
or as I will them. You have one job. I have stolen all this property for you to do nothing with it. I I have stolen all this
When
equipment.
he, when slight spoilers, but when he wakes up, the lady that's laying next to him, did you have a nightmare? I did have a dream. I am going to die soon.
Oh, my timer went off. Oops. Anyway, continue. Uh, yeah, like I will die soon. It's the same three girls every time, every night. And she's just like, "What? Are you sleeping with these
Yeah,
girls? What
like
are you doing?"
everything.
Like it's
You
it's
know,
so bad.
the dialogue and the way it's written in this movie, it's like we're too stupid to follow the story, so they have to literally like spoon feed it to you every line. This is what's happening now. Just like the going into the direction, we know that we find out that Dakota Johnson can see into the future. We
Yeah.
know that from the trailer.
Hmm.
Um, they have to replay it like 5 times. He's like, we get it. She can see into the future. You don't have to replay the freaking scene 5 times.
But it and it's not like a trial and error thing, where she like does it over and over
No,
again
no,
to
it's not.
like
It's not
try
like
to
a
figure it out.
groundhog. It's not like Happy Death Day, where it's like a groundhog thing where she has
Yeah,
to go through it over and over and get it right. No,
yeah,
they just show it 5 times in a row.
and yeah. It's not like she learns, like it's not like a learning your power type thing. It's just it's like Sony's like, oh, do you have short term memory loss? We're just gonna make sure you know how these powers work. We know how the powers work. She can see into the future. But that's all we need to know. You don't need to do it 6, 7, 8 times. And then the final scene, where might be spoilers, but who gives a shit? The end scene, it's like a quick time event in a video game. The girls are literally falling behind Dakota Johnson, and she's like, all right,
And
move to your right.
mind you, why to start this scene? To start this scene, there's an establishing shot of where this final sequence is going to take place. Right in the middle of it is a huge Pepsi Cola sign. Go drink Pepsi Cola. This movie is sponsored by
By
Pepsi.
Pepsi Cola. I have some Pepsis in my fridge, so what you're saying is I should drink more Pepsi, and Madam Web will come and save me. And
He will
and
come and save you. If she does not save you, Ezekiel will kill you.
and he will find you, and he will kill you, as I will you. Man, that's so funny, but it's so bad.
It's and people watching this, it makes it sound like, oh, this movie's like hilarious. There's a few funny parts, but honestly, most of it is just very awkward and dull.
Mhm.
At least to me. That's,
and the way that the movie is cut. It's
Yeah, it's not like a you're gonna be laughing your butt off through the whole entire movie. Like, man, this is so bad, it's good. No, it didn't get there for me.
no, it's not. And the thing is, I with Morbius, like it's lower than Morbius now. It was higher. It was at 16%. Morbius is at 15. It's now currently at 13, so it's lower than Morbius. With Morbius, there's at least like two action scenes in that movie where I can remember where I'll be like, that's a cool premise, and they actually did it okay. I kind
Hmm.
of enjoyed that. And while objectively it's a really bad movie, there's those two scenes. But with Madam Web, none of the power scenes where I like that's cool. Nothing. I didn't experience that at all, and it's sad because it's actually a cool power. And can we talk about the ending and how terribly written that ending was?
Yeah, go ahead.
Here, I got a line
Yeah,
that
you
Madam
wrote, you
Web
wrote down
says.
lines throughout this movie.
Yeah, I wrote several lines that made me laugh or made no sense whatsoever. Okay, you ready for this? This is spoiler territory. I'm just warning you. But if you don't care about the movie and you're not going to go see it, stay with us. So I have written down. Let's see. I have written down 13. I have written down 16 lines from this movie that made me laugh. Okay, you ready? So the first line is when Dakota Johnson says to Adam Scott, Ben Parker, "You ever been shot in Queens?" Like, oh, reference, like Leonardo DiCaprio reference. No, that's
Hmm.
just stupid. And then the next one is when we're introduced to Sydney Sweeney's character. Just it just cuts so abruptly, and she just says, "I'm her stepdaughter," just abruptly. And I'm like, "Oh, hi, Sydney." Like, there's no like her walking into frame. It's just immediately cut. She like poof, magic.
Hmm.
She shows up. Um, and then the third line is when Dakota Johnson gets like a poorly drawn stick figure family from this kid, that the mother who the mother's
Yeah,
kid.
what the heck was that?
I don't know, but it was like
Like,
Dakota.
yeah, like a kid made a drawing for her saving his mom,
Hmm.
and she like
Probably
doesn't
because
want to take
probably
it,
because
and
it
is like,
has parents on there, and Dakota Johnson's like
yeah,
never
but
knew her
still,
mom.
it's like
It was really weird.
you could have been like, oh, thanks, and then he walks off. He's like, yeah, I don't know what to do this. But even then, she was like,
She's like,
thanks, you
back away,
weird child. Get
peasant.
out of here with your get out of here with your mother that almost died. Like,
Get out of here. But she said she's like folding it up, and she's like, I can't even fold it. It's like cardboard.
it's literally like sandpaper. It's like a normal piece of paper.
Yeah, it's like a manila paper, like something you would like draw on, like manila paper. And she's like, I can't fold it. It's like cardboard. The fuck. Um, the fourth line. I just want to go home and watch Idol, American Idol.
Yeah, that was. There's a few. This takes place in the early 2000s,
Yeah.
and they make sure to let you know, like,
Hmm.
because you're too stupid to. They think you might forget. That one, the American Idol one, the one where a Britney Spears song is playing, and the guy on the radio literally goes, "This is a new song. It's gonna be a hit. It's by a new artist named Britney Spears." Again,
And
nobody talks like
Jacob
that.
was getting Transformers: Rise of the Beast flashbacks. Like, oh, by the way, it's 2003. We want to make sure to remind you. And I think
Hmm.
there was like also a quick shot of like the expiration tag on like a car on the taxi that Dakota Johnson was
Oh,
driving, and
really?
it said '03. They're
Hmm.
like, oh, by the way, '03. Um, and then the fifth one is when they're in the train and she saves the girls, and she like points and she's like, "There's your emergency." That, and it just cuts to just him crawling on the
There's not.
ceiling.
This is like, besides like Ezekiel, this is borderline not even a superhero movie. Like, you get with all the Spider Women,
Hmm.
what you see in the trailer is what you get. You get a flash forward of them all in their suits, and then that's it. Like you said, the climax of this movie, the final act, is just them walking on this building, and Dakota Johnson being like, "Move to the right," and they move to the right, and then a piece of the building falls, and then Ezekiel comes flying in about to kick Sydney Sweeney or something. And she's like, "Duck." and then she ducks, and that's the whole movie. They do it like 10 times in a row.
Yeah. Follow me.
There's no action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the only power that Sims has, Ezekiel Sims has, is that he's strong and he can jump really high. That's all he can do. And he's literally jumping from box to box to box, jumping from
and
car to car to car,
and
like a bunny rabbit.
every sentence he says is worded like it's a question. Like
So
it's bad ADR.
Yeah. The sixth line is, "What is going on?" That is in the movie. Seventh line, "You wouldn't like me when I'm hangry."
Yeah, they do it like 3 times.
Yeah. Oh,
Along with
you're really showing off. you're really showing off, aren't you? You're really showing off. Oh my god. Number 8, "I don't understand how they're doing this. I don't understand how they're doing this.
yeah.
I got you all this equipment. I stole it for you to do nothing with it." Number 9, "How can you decide? Because I'm the one with the powers." Um, but I don't have a neurocardiovascular disorder. It's one of them. This one is probably the worst out of all of them. "When you have smart responsibility, great power will come." That is probably the worst one out of the bunch.
There's a few Spider-Man references that they're like they want to reference it, but they're kind of it almost feels like they're too scared to reference it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's one where they're talking about when they first see Ezekiel and they're like he was crawling on the wall like a spider person. Or there's one where they're at this baby shower and it's clearly Peter Parker who's the baby shower's for.
Mhm.
That's like the baby.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's guess the name. And one girl's like, I don't know. One girl's like, Steven? She's like, no, it's not Steven. His name is P. And then the balloon pops, and it's like, you're so clever.
Good job.
Yeah, there's like Spider-Man references, but they're like too scared to actually go through the reference. I don't know why they're too
Yeah.
scared, but
Yeah. So when you have smart responsibility, great power will come. That's your new line.
it's not like it's not like if they say the word Spider-Man, they're gonna like get in trouble or something. Like it's
Like they're gonna get sued, while
Yeah.
they own the rights to Spider. Whatever. Number 12, "I will destroy them as I will you." We've been making fun of that. 13, "It's a trap. Is it safe? As long as we are the ones who don't get trapped." There's one of them. Again, "The girls were never your future. I was." That's one. Oh, and this one got the biggest chuckle out of me. So the girls they just saved Madam Web. So Madam Web goes blind, right? She's in the bed, and they're all holding her hand, and they're like, "We'll be there. We're here for you. We'll never leave you." What Dakota Johnson said earlier in the film. And then the nurse walks in and says, "Are you guys immediate family?" And then the girls look at Dakota Johnson, and she's like, "Yes, they are mine." And then the nurse just walks out of the room. Like, what? That's all you came in there to ask for, was to see if they're immediate family? Not to check on her vitals, not to make sure that the heart monitor's going okay, that she's fine, just to check if they're immediate family. It just makes no sense.
It's always bad.
Yeah. And then, do you know the best thing about the future? It hasn't happened yet. Is the last line of the movie. So yeah, those are all the lines I wrote down. But basically, screenwriting is awful.
Yeah, direction's not very good. Awkward shots. Casted best they could. Terrible villain. Like terrible villain. Yeah, I liked Adam Scott. That's the only thing for me.
Yeah. Now rating. Let's just do it. We can go you first.
I'll go first. I'm giving it a 1 out of 5.
Wow. So so that would be a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, 2 out of 10. The Adam Scott. I'm gonna say Adam Scott.
Mm-hmm.
You get a star there. And then I didn't think Dakota Johnson was like offensive anything. I thought she did the best she could. So that's another star there. And yeah, that's it.
So a star for 2 people.
Yep.
Um, we knew.
Honestly, you know what? Well, let's go 1 out of 10. We'll give them half a star each.
Okay.
1 out of 10. Yeah.
Wow, 1 out of 10. Um, so we knew that this movie was gonna be bad. So expectations were very low walking in, and we knew of the ratings and everything. But that I don't care. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Awful, awful movie. So bad. Please don't go. Don't waste your money to go watch this. Just please don't. Watch all the reviews and get it from there. Just don't waste your money.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say honestly. Like there's some like really funny moments, but this movie's not as memeable as Morbius.
No.
So I would say like it's not
Gotta
like a
have
so bad good.
sex. Gotta have sex.
Have sex, excel, excel. Put my hands against, put my best of best, put my 10 or put my spend to spend. Have sex, excel.
So it's not like it's so bad it's good. It's honestly like besides a few really funny parts and like most of the time you're just like having secondhand embarrassment from the awkwardness and it being cringe.
What he said. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your review. Like and subscribe as
I
usual.
think we gave more effort than the writers.
Yes, we gave more effort in this review than we did the writers. Like and subscribe. You know the usual. I am now gonna go to bed dreaming of this movie, but not in a good way.
The next movie we're going to see in theaters is Dune 2, so we're probably going to go from the worst movie of 2024 to possibly the best.
Yeah, because the reviews are looking pretty good for that.
Bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have IMAX, so or XD rather.
Yep.
So that's the best thing we can do for that movie, especially since everyone's saying it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that will be it for the movie review. So I'm Cameron, this is Jacob, and we
You will like and subscribe to Slashers and Superheroes.
You
if
will.
you do not, we will find you.
And we will kill you, as I will both of you. Goodbye, guys. You better start with this recording. Otherwise, I will destroy you, as I will you. I will come for you, as I will you. You wouldn't like me when I'm hangry. Wow, you're really showing off.